Welcome back to the channel. My name is Brad, and if you don't want cheeky, go ahead and turn off the video. We're going to look at YieldMax, and I'm going to give you my opinion on most of the funds, the more popular ones. And we'll just go ahead and go through them. Just call it as it is and how the charts look. That's what we're going to do. Don't care if you like it or not. This is what the charts look like. Leave a comment below if you disagree with me. It'll be fun. So TSLY, or TSLY, yeah, they're fun. They're call writing on Tesla. It's up 16.5% in the last year, and we're just going to look at year to date total returns. Tesla's up 31. I'm just going to say their call rating's just subpar on this fund. And that's important because I look at some of these funds and I'm like, hey, you got this one right, but that one wrong. TSLY, not very good call rating. But look at AMZY. There you go. Look at AMZY. 42.24% compared to 45%. I know there's some people out there that say, oh, there's going to be other funds and they're going to beat AMZY. And I'm looking at this going, how much closer do you want it to be? You're getting capped on the top end. They're at 42% and Amazon's only at 45%. Somebody's not looking at the data and they're guessing when they make those kind of comments. That's a guess. Data-wise, they're not doing too awful bad, are they? CONY. Those in CONY, I'm just not going to bet my retirement on it. Not the best call writing, huge moves on, but let's face it, you're up 91%. And by the way, I'm going to show you a chart that you can almost have bought the top later on, and you can still be up in CONY. So just saying, don't believe everybody that's crying about CONY. CONY's doing a good job. I'm just not going to bet my retirement on it. Nvidia. Now, it's not the best call writing. Let's go ahead and face it. The distance between Nvidia and Nvidia, not the best. They're giving up a lot. But overall, you're killing the S&P 500. And that's something to be said. When you kill the S&P 500, you're doing something. And it is the underlying. We're just going to have to put that out. It is the underlying. But this is not too bad. Not the best call writing, though. Look at Netflix. Same issue. Not the best call writing, but when I look at the end and see how much they're tracking, I think they're getting a little bit better now on their call writing. We'll wait and see. I'm not going to jump in. MISTY. Who doesn't love MISTY? Just come on. I should have jumped into MISTY at the beginning, right? Yeah. They're up 212% since they started the fund. S&P's only up 16. You're killing it. I'm older. I'm just not going to put my retirement in this thing. But looking at that, you just got to say, hey, let's go with it. Now, PayPal. I have to sit back and go, they're beating the underlying. Beating. That's good call writing. When you can beat the underlying with your call writing, all I can do is throw my hands up. Because your call writing's correct. Now, when you look at the S&P 500 in the same time frame, it's up 32%. But you're beating the underlying with your call writing. You don't see that very often. That's why this is up closer to the front. because I'm going to give it to them. This isn't a dumpster fire. They're doing something right. Now, let's talk about YieldMax and YieldMAG. I just look at this going, YieldMaG is beating total returns, the S&P 500. YieldMax is not. I just shake my head. I would not own YieldMax, not after looking at some of the funds. Somebody said it. They just need to get rid of the bottom 5 and this thing would be a killer. But they're not going to get rid of the bottom 5 because they have to feed the bottom 5 of everything else. Just would not invest in YieldMax. Although, and I've pointed this out before, it's still an overall winner. If you're only trying to draw off 8% and investing everything back in, not bad, but you'd be better off with YieldMaG. All right, here it is. ULTY. You know I'm not a fan of ULTY. Really not. Not even close. So let's look at since inception. And we're going to take CONY here. And this is when CONY's almost at the peak. Wow, look at that. 1% up. And this is total return. So this includes all your distributions. Now, if you're into ULTY, not the best thing. But I did look at more recent data just to give them the total honesty opinion. So I took the last month. Okay, you're still down in the last month, 9%, and that's total return. Did I miss something? Is something not? What's wrong here? In the last month, you're still down 9%, and you're up in CONY. Hey, come on now. And if you believe in ULTY, more power to you. But this is the data. I didn't make these charts up. I'm just showing you what the chart says. Now, I scanned really in and went to the 16th. And ULTY is up. Okay? We're going to give ULTY up. We're going to hold back our total opinion of ULTY because they're up a little bit for the last, since the 16th. Okay. We're just going to say okay. That's all we're going to say. Opinion is still out there. YMAG beats it. We're just going to throw it out. YMAG beats it. ULTY. And it's the underlyings. I hate to say this. Anybody that says, oh, they got great underlyings. I'm sorry. Either you're new to stocks or don't understand stocks, but there's a reason those stocks are so volatile. Because they're not overall strong. I'm sorry. It's just not a fund that I like. So Meta, not the best call writing either. Just they haven't figured out Meta. Getting a little better here recently, but just not that good. Just put it out there. Doesn't look that good on the chart. Apple, not bad. They missed a couple, got behind, but Apple is lagging the S&P 500. So, not a big Apple fan. GUI and Google, they missed the boat. Terrible call writing. I don't care what you say. I just look at that chart and go, is this where the monkey is calling the calls here? Come on. What's going on there? You did so good with other funds, and you look at this one going, and this is the less volatile fund. So how are you that bad? And they're going for too big of a percentage. Personal opinion. You just don't get that from Google, and they want to go high percentage, so you get capped more often. So Microsoft, and here's a good one. Microsoft, they're beating the underlying, not volatile. So you look at the last one with Google, and they did a terrible job. But you look at Microsoft and you go, you're beating the underlying. And you throw your hands up. And this is where you say, hey, the underlying's going sideways and we're beating the market. And that's exactly why cover calls are good sometimes and bad sometimes. But right now, they're not doing a bad job. They're beating the underlying. We'll give them an A- on this one. Okay, we're just going to go ahead and give them an A. Although, I'm not going to be buying this. Just wanted to show you what the data was telling us. Gold miners, they're down. But the underlying is down. And I'm just going to go, not a big fan. Too much going on for Brad to get into gold miners. Now, JP Morgan, they must have the same monkey doing JP Morgan as they do Google. That's not even close. That's not even in the same ball game. Why? Monkeys. Just saying. Sorry, I don't mean to offend anybody at YieldMax making calls, but amateur hour. And the last one's MR and Y. Okay, the underlying's just taking a tank, and yeah, this is why YieldMax is just a terrible investment. I left this one in just to show you this is why you can't invest in YieldMax. How do you have an underlying like this in your portfolio and you're happy with it? I don't know. I just wouldn't be buying it if it was me. So that's my review. I didn't want to spend all day going through this. So it's dumpster fire or beating the market. I say it's a hit and miss. I will say on some funds, they're doing okay. They really are doing okay. I mean, I looked at AMZY. How do you beat that? I mean, they're that close and you're getting capped, but they're doing the right job. They probably picked the right percentage. And that's where some of this comes into. Some of these percentages that they're trying to hit, they're just killing themselves trying to hit them. They just need to be a little bit lower in percentages. And that's, again, just my personal opinion. That's when I look at the charts. That's what the charts are telling me. At least that's my interpretation of the charts. But at least I'm not out there guessing. I mean, there's been a lot of guessing here recently by certain people. And it's just like, really? You're going to... I mean, somebody months ago was ULTY. Come on. That's a guess. The chart tells you were guessing. Right? Look at the charts before you get into something. That's all I'm saying. You don't have to be super well Excel. You can go out and look at charts on websites and pick this apart yourself. I mean, just throw it out like that. I mean, you can go on to Seeking Alpha and get this. It's a little bit more difficult if you're not a subscriber, but you can go look at the chart at least and make up a reasonable decision. Just don't guess. Look at the chart. Chart looks good for total returns, and you're wanting to pull 8%, 10%. There you go. And that's another one. Just because they're paying you 40% or 30%. You can't pull that much out. That's child's play. That's childish to think that you can. And that's where you get into some of these people, not naming names. They're childish if they think they can pull everything out. 8%, 10%. If you get lucky, you can pull 15%. Pulling it all? No, not even close. Not even close. And that goes XDTE also. We're just going to throw that out. I wouldn't be reinvesting in an XDTE right now. You're doing well. But you should be saving that XDT money up to buy it when it dips. And I'm not talking 1 or 2% dip. I'm talking about it when the 10% dip comes. Unless there's a 10% dip, you don't need to be buying back in. But having money sitting on the side to buy back in and not spending it all is probably a good bet. And that's the same thing I can say about all my cover calls. That's in equities. I'm not buying back in now. I'm waiting for the next 10% dip. I'm going to let that cash sit there and accumulate. And I'll buy the dip. If I want, I'll put it into something that's paying me 9%. There you go. Something not going down in value. Or acts like an inverse to the equities. Personal opinion. Do what you want to do. None of this is financial advice. Just showing you the charts. Just saying that don't think that you're going to pull all the funds out and live on them. But a reasonable person will look at those charts and say, hey, I'm beating the market in some of these funds. And maybe you should have a couple percentage in if you're younger. If you're older and a little more risk tolerant, maybe so. My risk isn't there. I want to play Nvidia. I still hold it. I still believe in it. I still believe in AI over the next 10 years, maybe 20. And I'm waiting to get back 100%. I just keep on dripping it back in. It's doing really well for me. And I'm just going to go with it. Am I going to bet my whole entire future in it? No, not at all. But if this is the way that you're playing your retirement, diversification. That's all I can say. Until next time, God bless.